Ladies and gentlemen, the Democrats, they are fully aware that they are losing black voters. They went real hard on benign and neglect, and now you're paying the price. And be wary about how you address the black community because we don't want to hear anything about everybody. We don't want to hear anything about you can't just do things for black people, like Kamala said. You can't not address reparations. You can't not address a hate crime bill. So, my suggestion, you better be very careful about how you intend on approaching the black community because you have done very poorly so far. The benign and neglect thing, it's old and nobody is falling for that anymore. If you don't have a message for the community, they don't have a vote for you. So I would like to thank one of my subscribers, Beverly Pierce, for this story. Democrats keep getting new warning signs about black voter support. Well, at one point in time, they had a lot of loyalty from the black community, and I still believe some of that loyalty is there, but it has definitely changed big time. So Democrats are finding out how worried they need to be about black voter support. After a lot of hand wringing in recent years, elections next month in Mississippi and Virginia, two southern states with large black populations, will offer one final robust reading going into 2024 on the extent of the slippage among Democrats' most reliable bloc of voters. Yes, in Louisiana, they did not turn out for the recent governor's race down there. The warning signs have been flashing. President Joe Biden's approval rating with black voters have dropped disproportionately compared to white voters. Yeah. See, the ones that are saying they're satisfied with the job that Joe Biden are doing, what he's doing, those are white Democrats that are saying that. And they also see that Joe Biden hasn't done anything for our community. They see it. Polls show are driving down his overall numbers. Last week, election of Republican governor in Louisiana, the first in 8 years, suggested diminished voter enthusiasm in the areas with the largest black population. Okay, so they got Virginia and Mississippi coming up in the next month. We'll see what the turnout is going to be. So, and this week, a prominent Democratic data firm published a report outlining declining support for Democrats in the last year's midterm election among young Black voters, Black men, and Black voters without college degrees. There's one simple answer for why the Democrats are losing Black support at the margins. Some conservative black voters are aligning with the GOP as the parties become more ideological, and inflation and other economic struggles in recent years, which have driven much of the widespread dissatisfaction with Biden, have hit communities of, what they're saying, communities of color, And you know what? That's another thing, Democrats. It would help if y'all would stop saying that. Communities of color, people of color, okay? Is say what we are, okay? Just like you specifically Say LGBTQ, you say Asians, you say migrants, you are very specific. But when it's us, everything turns into people of color. No, we don't want that. So you might want to work on that as well. What's clear is that Biden can't safely assume he'll be able to reassemble the coalition that he rode to victory on 3 years ago. Black support for Democrats have been slipping slightly for the better part of the decade. Since Barack Obama, the country's first Black president, was last on the ballot in 2012. There are signs Republicans may have continued since 2020 to pull some Black voters away from Democrats. Yeah, but the Republicans are really not a good answer to what's going on in the Black community because let's be real, the Republicans are not for reparations. The Republicans are not trying to help us get a hate crime bill. So that's really not a solution, not one that we should be considering. And that's bad news for Biden. In a Quinnipiac University poll this week, about two in three Black voters, 65%, said they approve of the way Biden is handling his job as president. A Fox News poll earlier this month found Biden leading Trump in a hypothetical rematch among Black voters, roughly 3-1 margin, 74% to 26%. Go ahead. That may seem high, but it's down sharply from 2020 when Biden won 90% of Black voters, according to Democrat data from Catalyst. The firm releases studies of the electorate using records showing which people voted in an election. This week, it released new reports analyzing voter subgroups, and its dive into Black voters showed support for Democrats fell in last year's midterms. The new analysis found that 88% of Black voters in 2022 elections voted for Democrat candidates in their congressional district, down from 91% 2 years earlier. The steepest drop for Democrats were among Black voters in the millennial and Gen Z generations. It found 91% in 2020 to 84% in 2022. Black men went from 87% to 83%. Black voters in rural areas went from 84% to 80%. And Black voters without college degrees went from 91% to 87%. So it looks like they're losing all across the board right now. The danger for Democrats among Black voters is also about turnout. And last week's election for governor in Louisiana was the latest warning. Yeah, I had saw the stories out about that. The new Republican governor in Louisiana, I'm sorry, the Republican attorney general is Jeff Landry, and he won the election. And the Democratic governor, John Bell Edwards, Landry was long expected to prevail at the end of the month. So Jeff Landry is the governor now. So it was a low turnout among Black voters in Louisiana. So that's what kind of got them more concerned now. So, we haven't heard any plans from the Democrats as of yet. There is nothing. They're not even coming to even fake the funk now. I know they probably understand that they can't come out with the same things that they used to do before. You know, a lot of it was being in fear of the Republicans being in charge. Well, the way I see it is really no different from the Democrats being in charge. I mean, let's look at it. Our people are still being mass incarcerated. They're still being shot out in these streets, regardless to what party is in office. Those things don't change for us. It's not changing. And we're just watching Joe Biden give loads and loads of money to any and everybody that's not us. So in Louisiana, statewide turnout was about 36%, which was a steep 10-point drop from 46% back in 2019. But the turnout drop was even sharper in many of the state parishes with Black large populations. Of the 15 parishes where census data shows at least 40% of residents are Black, the turnout drop was greater than the statewide average in 10 of them, including the parishes containing the state's two largest cities, New Orleans and Baton Rouge. So, yeah, well, the Democrats, is up to y'all to do something about it. Do something really significant. As long as you keep holding back and you look like you're not going to do anything, then yeah, you're diminishing your chances for 2024. So, y'all, if you come out with something, it can't be symbolism because you've been giving us a fistful of symbolism since Joe Biden took office. But it's nothing in comparison to the Asian hate crime bill. It's nothing in comparison to all of the money you're raking overseas. And you got people right here that are being mistreated under your nose. So y'all need to do something, and it needs to be big, and it needs to be exclusively for the Black community. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace, family.